unless you sacrifice the Corsair early on to figure out even better what he's doing. But I didn't feel like sacrificing a Corsair for that, so I just move out a bit earlier like this, and he wouldn't be able to contain me, and that's all that really matters at this point. Even though he had a lurker at my second expansion, so he's delaying that, it really doesn't matter that much. Like I can just keep, as long as my macro mode stays up, and as long as my economy is not weaker than his, my expansion can be a bit delayed without any problems. And as you saw right over there, I had some Corsairs, and they countered those mutas without any problems. If I'd lost those High Templars, this game would already have been GG, since there's no way I could have I could counterattack that new expansion attempt over there, which he's trying to take. Like, his expansion timing is a bit earlier than usual, but that's really to be expected when he's making so quick lurkers instead of hydras. So that's what happened, and that's not really so much unheard of. He's most likely gonna set up a lurker block over there, kinda on the high ground, before his mineral only expansion up in the 12 o'clock, and that's really to be expected. Like I said, when he goes so quick lurkers, like, obviously he's gonna have a bit more confidence in taking quicker expansions, and since lurkers are not quite as good in offense at this point of the game, it kind of explains itself. I also placed my Zealot over here, kind of between this area, just so that I'm able to scout out if he tries to sneak past and, for example, counterattack my base or something like that. The only reason for that Zealot is that I'm able to predict him if he tries to attack my expansion and so on. And this is really something that so many players forget. Like they think that it's almost obvious that they're not gonna attack or something, but you want to be sure about it, and it really costs me nothing at this point when I have like 160 supply almost to make one Zealot over there. But I'm gonna lose a huge ton if he stops my expansion attempt at this point. So that's really something I want to avoid. So at this time, the worst possible thing perhaps to do is to suicide your Zealots to his lurkers or so. So I'm just attack moving with my Dragoons, kind of just behind my Zealots or so, and using my High Templars to storm his units and storm his lurkers at this point. Like, my Dragoons just keep attacking and backing off if it gets dangerous, and then I just resume my attacking and so on. So at this point I just use my Dragoons and storm, and if he ever gets too close, that's when I use my Zealot and my other army. But if not, then no. And so I'm just looking if I can get any good storms over here, and I happen to get quite a few. So at times like this, and it is exactly the same if the Zerg has you contained in your natural or so with lurkers, which really shouldn't happen. Like, it's the Protoss's fault if it happens, but if it does happen, then what you really gotta remember is, for one good macro, you gotta be producing a ton of units constantly. If you forget your macro even for 1 point, like you're instantly gonna get like 2k minerals, and at that point the game is already pretty much over, unless he has as bad macro as you. What you need is like constant unit production, and constantly making more and more units, and besides that, you need persistence. You gotta be attacking all the time. If you just attack move, your units die, then you produce, then you wait a while, then you attack move again, your units die, then of course you're not gonna break out. Like, you're gonna have to be persistent, constantly adding pressure, constantly attacking, constantly forcing him to waste his units to various things, constantly storming him and so on. I use my Dragoons all the time over here, or almost all the time, kind of attacking him and forcing him to keep using his units to like Hydras and Lings to attack my Dragoons. and at that point is usually when I get a lot of good storming spots and so on. And as you can see, my since I keep assaulting him all the time, I really don't wait for him to recover. I just keep attacking and keep attacking, and it's finally paying off. Like at this point his lurker block is pretty much dead, and I just keep reinforcing my unit since I only have tech unit at this point. I have only like one Archon, Dragoons and High Templars, and usually when you have this kind of unit combination, the worst possible thing to do is to keep attacking. Like when you have tech units, you run away and wait for a bit bigger army or zealots or so, or more Archons or whatever, just something that can sustain more damage. But if you only have Dragoons and High Templars, unless you have a very good reason, you should stop your attacking, since his Lings and Hiders are so easily gonna just get free kills out of your Dragoons that's really something you really want to avoid. As you can see, I also placed my High Templar over here, since I kind of expect that he especially because of the map layout, it kind of encourages you to do this sort of stuff. So because of the map layout, I kind of expect him to counter me, so I make quite a few cannons over there just to be safer against counters. And I also have one High Templar, which is gonna make all the difference in the world when it comes to fighting against him in general. Or like fighting against his counterattacks against my expansion. And I keep adding gateways. I kinda had a careless macro over here, since I got to a bit over 1k minerals, but the most important thing is that my unit production never really stopped. And because my unit production never really stopped, or at least not for more than like 10 or 20 seconds at most, not even, well, whatever. That's why the game still isn't over. Even though my minerals are kind of piling up, it still isn't gonna affect my game in like a very deciding manner, since I still have a lot of units, even though I have quite a few minerals, though I'm slowly getting the gap back. Yeah, and at this point I'm kind of gathering up, kind of moving around the map. I see that the lower part of the map I no longer have visibility of, so it would only make sense, especially since I cleared out his expansion. Like, since I took out his expansion, it means that I've pretty much out-expanded my opponent when I have as many expansions as him. So the most intelligent choice, in my opinion, for him to do would perhaps be counterattack me. And where would he counterattack me if he doesn't counterattack me from the lower part, since I was just in the upper part of the map, and that means that he cannot access me from the upper part of the map, so the only part he can access me from is the lower part. So that's where I gotta go after I've gained the economical advantage. And I was able to spot his attack on my expansion just in time to block him from killing that nexus. And if I had lost this nexus, then I could have possibly lost the whole game as well. I basically leave a few zealots scouting between my between those expansions. That is simply so that I can kind of stop his expansion attempts right away, stop him from scouting me and so on. And I figure out that since I cleared this just a moment ago, then it might be a good expansion attempt. Like, one mistake to do in this map, which I also make in this game, is that you don't keep expanding. Like, you're satisfied with just having 3 bases, and kind of getting your 4th, but you're not really intent on this. And on most maps this is not a problem. Like, you kind of get that that 4th base for free. And but over here that doesn't happen. Over here you kind of gotta fight it with your knives and teeth or whatever. So that's something that you really gotta remember in this map. You take an expansion, the moment you have the chance for it. If you wait for that expansion in this map, then you're most likely gonna lose. And since this you also may have noticed that I kind of stopped making High Templars and kind of made more Archons at this point, unlike in earlier to the game. That is simply because in the earlier to the game, High Templars are more effective, since he has like lurkers, hiders and whatever. So of course High Templars are gonna be more effective.